perspective as the captain heading into the series?
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to strike some decent weather, to be honest. Obviously, coming over here, it was wet and cold, and we've had a couple of extremes. So, at the same time, all the guys are really excited to be over here, and we know, the challenge that lies ahead, and they're excited to get amongst the series here.
Julian, do you want to start off, or Dean? Someone pass it over to you guys.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Willie. Can I just ask Kane, are you any closer to finalising your team from what Gary told us yesterday? And if you can't tell us what the team is, can you at least tell us what the outstanding issues
are? Yeah, I mean, we've just sort of turned up to the ground, so we do need to have another look at the surface before we finalise the balance of the side. So, yeah, I mean, as we know, the weather is hot here, and things can change pretty quickly, so we do want to have a look at the wicket first.
Okay, and can I just ask you, what does it mean to you as a New Zealander to be playing a test match at Lord's?
Yeah, I mean, any time you get the opportunity to play here is a really special thing. The home of cricket, and for a few guys, it's their first time here at Lord's, and they're certainly soaking it up. And yeah, just all around the ground, getting used to some of its features that are only here at Lord's is pretty cool, despite it being a little bit unique with bubble life. But it'll be great to have crowds back as well.
Thank you.
Hi, Kane. I just wonder where you thought the balance of power might lie ahead of the series. Clearly England are a tough side to beat at home, but you are here for the World Test Championship final, which suggests that your team is a pretty good one and a decent generation. So do you fancy that with a few key England players out, that this is your best chance for a series win for some time?
Look, we know how tough it is over here anytime you come and play in this part of the world, and how clinical England are, and certainly in their own conditions, but all around the world as well. So we know we're in for a really tough challenge, but for us it's important we focus on the cricket that we want to play, but also trying to improve and adjust as quickly as possible, because we know there are a few things that are quite different to the cricket that is played over here.
And would it be fair to say that this is indeed the finest New Zealand Test team for some time, that your quality players, your world-class players are quite numerous, and you've been to number one in the world quite recently. Is this the finest team that you've been a part of in this format?
Look, I think we've seen a lot of improvement in the side, and it's been over a long period of time, and being, I guess, a part of that growth has been really enjoyable. It's really difficult to stop for a moment in time and give it a judgment like that, when you know that the next day there's another challenge to address, and there's always room to improve. And here we are now with a tough challenge over here in England, obviously against England and then India, and so we're very realistic about where our focus needs to be, and it's certainly not looking backwards, it's looking forwards.
Thanks.
Hello, Kane. I'm sorry to mention it, but given what happened the last time you met England on this ground, do you owe them one at Lord's?
Oh, I mean, it was a fantastic game of cricket. It's a different side, and there's been some time since that day, so the focus is, like I say, it's different. It's the cricket that we want to play as a test side. There's certainly no thought of that and owing anybody anything. We're both a part of a fantastic game that was decided by largely things outside of both of our teams' control. So a special game to be a part of, but we're looking forward to the test here tomorrow.
That's right, absolutely no thoughts on what happened the last time you were here, when you walked into the dressing rooms or anything like that. Any of it come back to you?
Look, the experience was thought of fondly, although it was, emotional to to a certain extent, and at the time, to think back and being involved in that match and some of the controversies that surrounded it and the drama and all these sorts of things that come with tournament cricket, but come with some of the fine margins that we saw in that game. You do look back on it fondly, and having that match played at a ground like Lord's, I suppose, just adds to it. So look, the guys are really excited to be back here. It's always a pleasure to have the opportunity to play at Lord's, and we're looking forward to the next challenge, which is starting tomorrow.
Thank you.
Hi, Kane. You've got a pretty good recent Test record against England, but I think I'm right in saying New Zealand's only won one Test at Lord's ever in 1999. Is that something that you can use to, motivate the guys if indeed they do need any extra motivation?
Look, I think the thoughts aren't sort of to those types of stats. It is about the cricket we want to play with the group we have, and I guess that's the thing with historical stats, is there's always different groups on different days. It's hard to replicate, and they don't sort of count for too much, but we still know the challenge is a fierce one, and they're incredibly clinical in their conditions, and there are a number of things to look to adjust to when you do tour to this part of the world. So that's been a focus for us in our preparation, and we're looking forward to facing that challenge tomorrow and throughout the series, and then obviously with the last match against India as well.
And you've played a couple of tests here. I mean, what can you tell the guys who haven't played at Lord's before about the quirks, I suppose, in particular the slope for the bowlers?
Yeah, that's clearly one of them. A ground that's on a slight slope, and you get a little bit of a feel for that. Fantastic lunches, if you compare them to all around the world, it's a very special place to eat food. And just all the parts that come with playing at Lord's, the history that surrounds it, the tradition. It'll be a little bit different at the moment, and guys are trying to explain that to some of the new players. We're eating in the long room. We're using the odd backdoor entrance and these sorts of things, but at the same time you still get a good feel for it, and they're loving it so far.
Thank you.
Kane, many people commented on the sort of gracious way you accepted the defeat in that World Cup final 2 years ago. Is that something you've tried to keep, sort of maintain that sort of philosophy over the last couple of years, playing the game with good grace?
Yeah, I mean, the game was played, wasn't it? And the result was determined, and both teams went at it, to the best of their abilities on a wicket that offered a little bit for everybody. And, at the end of the day, it was a special game to be a part of, and what decided the result, you could have whatever feeling you wanted about it, but at the end of the day, there was some fine print, and obviously a few other bits and pieces that went on in the game, but it will be a game that will be remembered fondly, whether you're on the right side or the wrong side. And, that's part and parcel of sport. And, I know there's been a few things since, and perhaps rules adjusted and whatnot. It was a moment in time.
Do you like to see your team play cricket in the right way?
The right way is sort of a loose term, really. I think, for us, it's important to be ourselves and play the type of cricket that we want to be doing day in, day out, and sort of live up to the behaviours that are important to us. But, I don't know if that's the right way or the wrong way. It's just, what we like to do as a side.
Just on your own batting, I mean, people sort of put you in the bracket, perhaps alongside Smith and Cody, maybe Joe Root. Did you look at how those guys are going? You sort of judge yourself against those other bats?
I admire the way that all of those players and many others go about their game, and there's always so much to learn from those players, and friends with most of them, and it's been great to see the way that all of them in their own way and in their countries as well have moved the game forward, and all done it in different ways. So look, I admire the way they go about their business, and continue to enjoy watching them.
Yeah, hi, Kane. You were talking about the improvements the team have made over quite a long period of time. And I was wondering, right now, for a small country, you seem to have quite a lot of strength and depth. I was wondering what you put that down to, really, whether that's system changes you've made to the domestic setup in New Zealand, or if it's something to do with your team environment, and sort of where you think that's come from. Yeah,
I mean, I do think there's probably little bits from a lot of areas that play a part in that, and I also think the volume of cricket and the three formats do offer opportunities to bring guys into international cricket and sort of dip their toes in and get a little bit more comfortable. But I think looking to continue to evolve your environment and grow as a group also hopefully helps give guys confidence that when they come into the side,